Boxing today. There was a lot going on today. We got a lot of boxing news. We got Wilder versus Fury 3, the presser, where Wilder was very quiet. And of course, we also got the news that Teofimo Lopez actually tested positive for COVID-19, which means the fight this weekend in Miami is canceled. Um, there's some people already saying that there's some foul play going on there where the people might not actually have COVID and it's about tickets. And there's a conspiracy theory for everybody, for every freaking topic. So, let's get in on it. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if the stream is okay, if you can hear me, if you can see me okay, if different. Let me know if you can hear me and all that. And then we can get started with the conversation because I'm excited to see what you guys think about the whole thing. Especially because Wilder was very quiet in the press conference. And a lot of people are actually expecting at least one bomb squad, right? And of course, I look hella oily. It's hot as fuck in my room. It's hot as fuck today. So we are looking a little oily and crusty today. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll definitely go ahead and highlight you guys' comments. Hi, Addie. I know you got a lot to say. What did you think about Wilder today? And of course, if anybody wants to hop on, let me know. And then we can definitely have you make conversation with me. Of course, let's start talking about Wilder right away. Wilder, again, I was expecting at least a couple bomb squads. And yes, he dropped some bomb squads when he had that interview with Flores on the PBC Instagram page, and I love those bomb squads. I love to hear him enthusiastic. And today he was very quiet, a shorter words, sweet and to the point. I'm not mad at it at all. I wish he would have just again, if he, feels so strongly about the accusations, I wish he would have been vocal about them as well. But he doesn't owe the media anything. But at the same time, as a fan, and as a media, I know that he doesn't owe us anything. As a fan, I really wish he would have kind of went all out. I wish he would have called people out for, whatever he feels was wrong doing to him. So I really wish it would have been more of that kind of situation. But of course, Fury carried the presser by himself. He basically tried to play both parts. Shout out to Christina Pancha for doing an amazing job as always. Um, I really fuck with Christina Pancha for the way that she just kind of kept it going. She didn't allow Fury to. Can you please not do that? Can you please stop? Children. I'm really happy that Christina Pancha did not allow Fury to kind of play the role of Wilder and kind of make a clown show out of the whole thing. So I am pretty happy that at least she was there to mediate the whole thing. I'm pretty happy about that. And of course, that stare down was the longest I've ever had to endure. I knew that he was gonna have a long stare down and that they were not going to be the first ones to break away. But at the same time, I wasn't expecting it to last that long. I really didn't. I'm pretty sure that was the longest I've ever seen a stare down go. And of course, Fury's team kind of celebrated when Wilder finally looked away. And to me, that was a little bit corny. But it's Tyson Fury, and of course, he's gonna go ahead and just celebrate all of those things, right? So I obviously took some videos. I'm really short, so I couldn't really get close to the little when they just crowd the boxers for the media. I couldn't reach them. I'm short. I can't do all that. Um, but let's go ahead. We saw Fury come in without a shirt, just looking a little funny as he usually likes to draw attention to himself most of the time. And he was wearing, at first, he was just shirtless. After that, he kind of, one of his helpers came and like put on the little blazer that he had on, and he's just a character, and luckily he's going to be able to carry it himself. Arturo, hello. Wilder wants to kill Fury. I feel like Wilder's been one of those guys. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. I feel like Wilder has always been one of the type to be vocal about wanting a body on his record. And of course, there's a lot of people who don't agree with him saying that. There's a lot of people who, especially after the fatalities we have had in boxing in 2019, a lot of people feel like those comments have been very insensitive to make, because there's a lot of fighters who have indeed died in the ring. So I understand how people are not happy about those comments. Um, but yes, Fury has Wilder has been very vocal about wanting a body in his record, and I thought he had it when he fucking got Fury like that the first time. I thought he really had it, right? Because when he knocked Fury down in that 12th round, I thought Fury was dead. I was up in the media section for like the top. So looking at it from up there, I literally thought that he was dead, and then he opened his eyes, and I was like, okay, no, he's not dead. But it was a scary ass experience to see it from there. I'm like, holy shit, he finally caught a body. Like he did it, So I'm glad I'm glad Fury's okay. But yeah, I agree with you. I think he even made it obvious himself when he said that he wants to. He basically said that there'll be bloodshed, and I really want to show you guys, obviously, when he introduced both of them. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Let me know if you can hear that.
The 2008 U.S. Olympic bronze medalist, he is ranked.
And when he came in, honestly, I wasn't expecting him to look like that. When Wilder came in, I mean, he looks so relaxed. We used to see him like at least a little bit more show offy himself as well. But this time was very relaxed. Let me know if you can hear me, by the way. He was very relaxed, very casual, just, some team sweats, a t shirt, and they. So I was a little surprised when I saw him come in looking so relaxed. Like looking he wasn't wearing anything that's, at least before he wore, like, I think he looked a little bit more I don't know how to explain it, but he looked just very relaxed, and he looked like he had just gotten off the plane, or he had just, he didn't really care. And I think it's very obvious that he didn't want to be there. He didn't care to be there. He didn't care to talk to the media, which again, I don't blame him after the way, especially the media that is has a big platform. The way they treated him, I don't blame Deontay Wilder for that. But at the same time, it would have been nice to get a little bit more. Oh yeah, of course. Let me send you the link. I would love to send you the link. Let me send you the link on Twitter. I'll go ahead and send it to you. That way we can get you guys' thoughts, and if anybody wants to come in as well, like, please let me know. I would definitely love to have people on the chat, just so that we can make it like more interactive. I'm thinking of like getting a phone number, just so we can have you guys call in as well, and we can make it like a super interactive type of stream from you guys. Oh, thank you. So then shout out to from Pomona. Oh, you're close to me. But man, did you see Brandon Moreno fight first Mexican to become? Oh, on the UFC. I think you're talking about UFC. 6 more weeks. I think Wilder wins. I honestly would love to see Wilder avenge his loss, but I just feel like this is gonna be a tremendous fight. And I'm really really excited to see it. Well, I did notice. Thank you again, you guys, for the super chats. I really appreciate them. I let me just go on in this announcement. I did quit my 9 to 5 so that I could have a set schedule. So I'm gonna go take a week off on vacation in Mexico, and then when I come back, I'm going to have a set schedule of going live. That way, it's not just, oh, I'm randomly here. I promise I'll have a set schedule. Coming back from Mexico, I will have a set schedule on what days I'll go live. So yes, Arturo, while I did notice something weird about Fury's gloves or the way he was punching in the last fight, I think I mentioned that after the fight in your live, but I don't know what to make out of it. And I have to agree, and I think we all agree with that, right? We've all seen the videos, the pictures of him, punching a little differently. And leather does bend in the gloves, but this is more of just a different thing, that what we usually see. And I don't think it's much the gloves as much as it is previous allegations as well. But I don't like feeding into conspiracies, and I would like to think, and I would like to trust boxing commissions, and I would like to trust the commissions to look at the gloves before every fight. I would just like to believe that the commissions do their job. and that's why the gloves are not a controversial topic. But the way the media just kind of dismissed Wilder, in my opinion, speaks a lot about how much they don't care for him as an athlete and as a boxer. Because for journalists, I think it's a job to just release the information and let the people have a say on how they're going to respond to it. When with Fury, all the attention is on him, and there's nothing being brought up about his possible ties with, like, some pretty fucked up shit, like the drug people over there in the UK. Like, that's some serious shit, right? And nothing gets brought up. But with Wilder, when the situation does get brought up about him, uh, accusing Fury of doing these things, it's more of in a tone to kind of shame Wilder for doing so. When as a as an unbiased media person, you should just get the information from Wilder and relate it to the public without having any undertones that shame him for having those allegations. My thing is more the my thing is more the excuses post fight that I think gave Wilder a negative, just it gave him a bad image with the fans. I think that's what it is. I think once they heard the excuses about the suit, he made accusations to his trainer about spiking the water, horse tranquilizers. The trainer was in on it. So I think all of these accusations, especially that immediately they came out with the suit thing, I think that's when people started getting falling off of the Wilder bandwagon, and I feel like that's what made them not take the allegations seriously. If instead he would have just not made excuses, but said, "Hey, you guys, if you guys notice here, there's some things going on with the gloves. If you notice here, you can see that my cranium is literally dented. If you can see the positioning of his gloves, then you can maybe see something, right? If he would brought it up that way, I feel like maybe more people would have taken the accusations more serious. But I think because the accusations started after he had already made the excuses about the water and the suit, I think that's when things kind of took a turn for the worst. Tony says if Wilder loses, his career as a top draw is over. He'll become a gatekeeper. I think he will become a gatekeeper if he continues, and I just hope that he puts on a better fight this third time around, because the first two, I think he lost the first one initially. I know that he dropped the Wild Fury and very devastating fashion, right? I think he dropped him the first time, which was a flash knockdown in the ninth, I believe, and then of course in the 12th round when he knocked him, what I thought was out, and Wilder got Fury got up like the Undertaker. So I feel like he did better in the first one and the second one, and I hope that it's a very good fight the third time around, and I hope that he's able to display some of the new stuff that he's been working on. I think that'd be pretty fucking cool to see him adapt, even though a lot of people feel like you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? And we know Wilder as this power puncher, as this one punch knockout artist, and he has never really need to rely on his boxing ability, so people don't feel like he has any. So he has a chance to prove that he does, and I hope that he takes it. Oh, thank you. I just got it. I just got it, and it's pretty cool. Um, UFC. I know. I'm sorry. I don't. I just don't. I don't. I don't do the UFC. It's so brutal. I watch the UFC for Clarissa Shields, right? Clarissa Shields is the shit. So I'm gonna go ahead and share this. Phil, how are you? Wilder silent because he's war ready. He's looking for homicide, especially after what he purely discreetly did to. Yeah, when Wilder came in with the headphones in, and I just shared the video, I really thought to myself, I really understood to myself that he's not gonna give us any time of day. Oh, hold on. When I saw him come in with gloves on, I'm like, oh, he is not fucking around. Like he's not gonna talk to us. He's not gonna do much for the media today. And hey, that's okay. Hold on, my mom's calling my kids. Boys, your grandma's outside. Go get her. My bad. So let's see this video. This is when Fury came in, of course, looking very let me play it. And of course he came in, trying to steal the show, no shirt on, even went over to Wilder's side, and he was just trying to steal the show, you know? No shirt. It was hot as fuck, so I don't blame him. Luckily, luckily they had AC there, but it was so fucking hot today, y'all. If you live in LA, and again, Wilder was very short, sweet, and to the point. I don't know if you guys can actually hear um the the words on it, or if I have to uh put the microphone on it, but I will. I'm gonna show you guys what Wilder said so that you guys can see how short and to the. Did I like disappear for a bit? Do I need to start over? What's going on? I think I accidentally closed the wrong chat. Let me know if you can hear me because I think I closed the wrong thing. I don't know if y'all can hear me. I don't know what's going on. It's so hot. I think I closed the wrong thing. My dumbass closed the wrong tab. But let me go on with the comments. Let me go on with the comments, you guys. My bad. And yeah, a lot of people feel like Miguel, that Fury's not funny anymore. A lot of people feel like it's annoying by this point. I think he's funny and he's great for content purposes. But I can see why people are over it, especially in Wilder's camp. And there was altercations going on with both teams, and I'm pretty sure you guys saw it. Um, so let me see if I can play it now instead of fucking having the wrong closing the wrong fucking tab. But he was very short to the point. He just said, there will be bloodshed and that he'll wait for July 24th to prove that he's been working on new things and that he wants to decapitate Fury. So I'm not I just want to see a good fight. If Wilder wins, what do you think should happen after? Well, Wilder wins. I hope they move on with fighting Joshua, but of course, guys, of course, I don't know if you guys saw today. I don't know how true this is. I have not looked into it. As soon as I got home from the presser, had to go pick up the boys. So I haven't really been looking into much of it. But I did see that supposedly there is a rematch clause for Fury versus Usyk, and they're almost we keep hearing announcements about announcements that that fight is almost finalized, and we know that Usyk is a mandatory for Fury and has been for a while. I mean, for Joshua and has been for a while. And supposedly now there's like a rematch clause, which to me it's like, why is there a rematch clause for a freaking mandatory? When do you hear a mandatory have a rematch clause? That is ridiculous to me. But Chris says Bomb Squad. Chris is probably Fury's number 2 fan because Art Man is number 1. So number 2 fan over here. But yeah, I think that's a little ridiculous. But he did have one obviously with Andy Ruiz. So of course they're gonna try to do that. But I hope that I love Usyk. Everybody who follows me knows I love Usyk, but I feel like I'd rather them to win. I don't care who wins with the Wilder Fury. I just want the fucking fight with Joshua to be made. That's all I want. Our electric grid. Oh, I saw that. I saw they're asking you guys to keep that shit at 85 when you're trying to sleep. That's ridiculous. YouTubers are going to wait. What? Uh, YouTubers. No, enough with that fucking narrative that YouTubers are killing boxing. YouTubers are not killing boxing. You know what's killing boxing? All these fucking organizations and their belts, multiple fucking belts for one division. They have like 5 champions for one division. The best not fighting the best, promotional companies not fighting each other. That's what's killing boxing. Don't fucking try to do the scapegoat for the YouTubers. The YouTubers have their own audience. Let them enjoy shit. Let the YouTubers do their own fucking thing, and the audience, YouTuber kids are gonna fucking be there and they're gonna be watching. Like hardcore fans might watch just for the shits and giggles. Cool. Why not? Like it's something else. So don't blame. I don't like when people blame the fucking YouTubers. It's fucking weird as fuck to me. Like that's they got their own audience. And if real boxing fans tune in, it's just again for the shits and giggles, just to see what the fuck is going on. But there's so many more problems in boxing than YouTubers. Trust me, there's so many. Tony says if Wilder wins, hopefully he doesn't hold the division hostage and we see unification with Joshua and Usyk. Well, it's either Joshua or Usyk because Joshua and Usyk are gonna fight. I don't know if Usyk beats him all. I think Usyk is too small. I truly believe that Usyk is amazing with his boxing abilities. He's just one of a kind in that way, right? But the heavyweight division, it's a whole different monster. The heavyweight division, it's very relying on power, right? Any one punch can change anything, and we've seen it. This is the heavyweight division. Like one punch can literally, a guy could be winning the whole fucking fight or be kicking another guy's ass. But if the fucking heavyweight comes and they, literally give the other guy a beating, then he gives them a beating. Like it's heavyweight has more, has that ability to just change the outcome with one punch and from 1 second to the other. One guy can be up. I don't think Usyk has that power. Yes, he knocked down as Wilder calls him, Tony Bellew, right? But as amazing as that was to see, I don't think the other heavyweights will care much for or respect Usyk's power. I feel like they know that they're going to. They know that Usyk is smaller, and I feel like they will definitely capitalize on that. So I don't know. Fury humiliated Malik and Wilder did nothing. Just like, well, Wilder was on his headphones the whole time. Wilder didn't even. He was just on music because even when they asked him to get up and like face each other, he was kind of just like vibing with his music, and like someone had to tap him on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, like it's time to face off or whatever," right? And he still had his headphones on the whole time. But I did feel like I agree with you. I feel like he would have at least tried to defend Malik because Fury was straight up, attacking him and telling him that he wasn't a good boxer and how is he going to teach Wilder how to beat him if Fury kicked his ass in sparring, which I agree with Malik that sparring shouldn't be bragged about. When you drop someone in spar, I used to go before COVID to gyms Monday, Wednesday, Friday for sparring, and I would see guys get dropped, guys drop others, and I I don't know if that's like a new thing where people do that, or maybe that's like an out of California thing or out of the LA area thing. But every gym I visited here, guys spar each other and then they take pictures after, like good work. They handshake. They're very cool about sparring, and even if they hurt each other during sparring, there's never any bragging or anything like that going on. So that whole thing of like, oh, I hurt you in sparring, that's new to me. Like when like the younger generation started doing that, I'm like, okay, like that's maybe a thing of them. But I just never understood that whole thing, right? I never understood people who brag about sparring. Sparring is to oh hi Ari, let me bring you in. Hi, how are
How
you?
are you? Thank
¿Cómo
you so much
estás?
for your time. How are you? I'm good. I'm good. How's everything going?
Everything's great. So give me your thoughts because I know you're a big Wilder fan and you do feel like there was some cheating going on. So I want for once for you to explain that to me and explain it to the person who was talking here earlier who said that they they saw something, right? Arturo, with thank you for your super chat again. He said Mayweather versus Ryan Wall next. Oh my God, people would tune in. And if Ryan didn't get Pacquiao with that payday, maybe he'll get Floyd. I don't think Floyd will want to give him that though, just because of the beef with Oscar. I feel like he'll be petty. But going back to Arturo's question from earlier, how he said he did see, the gloves, and we all seen those pictures. We all seen the pictures of the gloves. But like I mentioned earlier, I feel like because Wilder's excuse about the suit, where it was almost immediate post fight, right? People I feel like now they didn't take those other accusations seriously about the cheating and the gloves and glove gate and all that. So give us your thoughts on why you think that there was some cheating going on with Fury.
I don't believe Tyson Fury had what is it, egg weight in his gloves. I don't believe
Oh
that
yeah,
at
that
all.
was also a
What I believe happened was I believe Fury had custom made horsehair gloves made by Paffin Sports. That's what he was wearing. Now something that some people may not be aware of is that, you know, gloves have to be a certain amount of ounces, so they have to be 10 ounces. Now, what some people may not know is that, you know, there are companies that make custom made gloves now that they will, you know, shift padding around, meaning that they will put more padding in the wrist and you know, put a little bit of less padding in the knuckle area to give the fighter a bigger impact. Now, that is what I thought Fury had. I think he had, you know, horsehair, custom made gloves that were light in the padding in the knuckle area. Now, if you look at the pictures that, you know, the pictures that everybody has seen, his gloves did look dented. Now, that doesn't happen to gloves within a few rounds. You know, even, you know, those gloves have to be worn out for a long time. And you know, a lot of people saw the flappy gloves. There's also videos of people pulling, what is it, Ricky Hatton at one point was pulling down on his gloves. So I personally believe Fury cheated. Now, Fury does have a history of cheating. You know, he has failed a PED test for nandrolone, which he
You know
said
what's
it was
crazy
from.
about that is a lot of people don't know about that. A lot of people truly believe it was just like the coke and you know the hard drugs that, or you know, his homophobic slurs and his rants about, you know, all of that that got him suspended. A lot of people don't know that Fury actually got caught with, you know, with some banned stuff. It's crazy
Yeah,
to me how when I remind people that Fury did test positive for a banned substance, a lot of people are like, "What? No, he just did coke," and I'm like, "No, like it's crazy."
yeah, because a lot of people, and that's why, and this is one of the reasons why Wilder is not talking to the media. You know, because he feels that, you know, Fury does have a history of cheating. He was caught with nandrolone. Then he said it was from eating uncastrated boar meat. Um, some things that people don't know about was that in the fight that he failed, the nandrolone test was Christian Hammer, which was before the Klitschko fight. Now, in the beginning of that fight, if you start watching it, Fury's glove, the thumb was detached from the glove, which the referee made him like, you know, get a new pair of gloves right inside the ring. So it's not the first time that Fury has these glove issues,
So
in my
Arturo
opinion.
said that Fury pay off a farmer to keep quiet and make the issue go away. The thing
Yeah, he
is that
did.
I think someone also put a picture of Canelo and how his gloves were kind of bending. Did you see that?
I did see that, but what a lot of people don't understand is, okay, you might find one picture of Canelo, you might find one picture of AJ, you might find one picture of a fighter, right? But if you go to now, are you familiar with Getty Images?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that if Getty Images has something on their website, it's not some bullshit. There's no Photoshop. There's no, like, nobody that works for Getty
There's no
Image is just
alteration.
gonna, yeah, there's no alteration on these pictures. Now, you can actually go to the website of Getty Images and just look up, you know, Deontay Wilder versus Fury 2, and all the pictures are there. All the pictures that I posted were actually pictures that I took screenshots from Getty Images. And a lot of people are like, oh, those are Photoshops. No, if you know Getty Images, they don't be Photoshopping shit.
So Gus is saying if something was up with those gloves and everybody was in on it, sanctioning bodies, refs, everyone, and probably even the janitor. And I think that's where I think a lot of us kind of, you know, if we have our, you know, doubts here and there, like, hey, maybe there was something funny going on. We go back to how many people behind the scenes, you know, there is before two fighters step inside the ring. Would all those people have to be on it? And
No,
how
no, no,
realistic is that at some point?
no. Here's what some people may not understand. Now, there is a rigorous process that fighters go through, you know, before they try the gloves on, right? I mean, before they fight.
Yeah,
So there
because
is a process.
like Miguel said, remember Floyd straight up changed Maidana's gloves. You
And
know,
but when you
Floyd
see,
straight up is like, "Fuck no, you're not using these." LRB, they were
okay,
both in the room, like, no.
and if you notice, Floyd went in there, he tried the fucking gloves on, and he was like, "You ain't got no fucking padding, hell no." So
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? That's something that JD's did
That
not
was a
do
good
because
impression, by the way.
yeah, I'm not good at impressions, but but something that is something that JD's fucked up in, and he admitted that he supposedly that he never felt or touched the glove, which is really stupid of him not to do. Now, I
But
want to
don't the
bring
commission check too, like not just the trainers?
yes, yes, and I'll explain. I want to just bring something up that happened not too long ago. There was a fight between Shaki Foster and I think it was Miguel Roman. Was it like a few months ago, maybe like within the
Mm,
last 5 or 6 months. They were having a fight. Now, Roman had these gloves that were approved by the commission already, and what ended up happening was that his trainer went to the gloves and was like, these gloves have no paddings because the way that the whole glove thing works is okay, they come from the maker, they come to the commission holds on to them, and then they approve them or they don't approve them, and then they decide what gloves are going to be used for the fight. Now if you look up this whole situation with Oshaki Foster and his gloves, these gloves came in from the maker, the commission approved them, and then his trainer caught it to where the gloves were missing padding in the knuckle area.
jeez,
So
yeah. It's just there's Brown says Wilder didn't want to talk to the media because he didn't want to answer questions about the accusations. And again, like as a media person, I feel like, well, that's a stretch, but as a person of the boxing media, kind of, I feel like he doesn't owe us anything. But at the same time, as a fan, again, I do wish he would have went more in. And I think the way I feel about the whole thing is, if he was so loud with these accusations, I wish he would have been louder at the press conference about them. You know what I mean? Like try to really get the point across and try to really keep those accusations going and put Fury on the spot in that way. Put Fury in the spot in that way of telling him to his face
I
what he
think
feels that he was cheated.
I feel like that his whole thing behind it was, look, you people were the same people that were saying, oh, we don't need to see Wilder Fury 3. Let's move on to AJ. And we're basically calling his accusations ridiculous. They ridiculed him. There were reports out there saying that he was depressed and all these different things.
Yeah.
He actually did an interview with that I just watched with Ellie from ES News, and he was saying like a lot of these reporters have my phone number. Why didn't they call me and ask? Why they didn't call people on my team and ask? So I guess he feels that even American media were against them in terms of
Well,
like how they were so willing to overlook and just say, nah, we don't need to see it again. Let's move on to AJ Fury.
I was literally behind Lance Pugmire, and I think I said this in the chicken talk. I don't know if you were there, but as soon as I was going home from the presser, I went on the chicken talk and I told him like I was behind Lance Pugmire, who's a writer for the Athletic, very big platform, a very well respected guy within the boxing industry, right? And I don't try to bash anybody. I don't. That's not my deal. But what did fucking bother me is that when he was asking his question to Wilder, he said, "Oh, I mean to Fury." He's like, "Hey Fury, are you upset that now you're forced to fight Wilder a third time, even though the fight with Joshua was already done?" And in my head, I'm like, when was it done? Like, I never received an email of official, unless I get the fucking email in my inbox talking about official here, 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 unless I see the promoter officially post it's official this date, this time, this fucking platform. I'm not a fan of the whole announcements about announcements or announcements about how negotiations are going. Like, I understand there's rumors about, oh, this person might fight this guy. Like right now, I know a lot of fucking rumors about fights that might possibly happen, right? Cool. But I guess I'm just tired of all the, it might happen, it might not happen. But again, I just don't like that he asked it that way. Because again, as a media member, especially a renowned media member like himself, someone with a big platform, somebody who's well respected, right? You should ask questions in a very methodological way that it doesn't release your own biases.
Yeah,
Because
which
by
is which
saying
is
by saying like you're being forced to, by saying when the fight was already done, who said that? Eddie Hearn, but he didn't. There was no real actual announcement about the fight actually being done. So no, the fight wasn't done. So for when you ask questions like that, it leaves it open for other people who may not be as familiar with boxing to feel like to keep having this resentment towards Wilder because for some reason he's the reason that this fight didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I said, I think that's part of the reason because he felt that that his own American media kind of went against him, and it wasn't just Lance Pogmeyer. Mike Coppinger kind of did the same thing, and he was
Mm.
like, that's why he's not really talking to any of those guys. He did a few interviews after, and they were with a handful of guys that he selected. He was like,
Yeah,
basically, if he didn't talk to you before and he didn't fuck with you, he wasn't trying to get it, give you
yeah,
an interview, especially if you were with these big American media platforms that kind of just we're willing to kind of overlook and say, yeah, we
yeah,
don't need to see that fight again. Let's move on.
yeah. Let's see. Arturo, Arturo, thank you for the super chats. He says, "Is it true that Team Fury covered the camera from the public?" See, and I feel like this is why
They did.
it's such a like touchy subject because people either believe it or they'll run with it and like make jokes about it. Isidro says Wilder knocks out Fury. Wilder humiliated himself with that costume. I thought the costume was cool, and he always comes out with like even with Ortiz, the second fight against Ortiz, he had a sick ass costume too. He had like the big, like cool costumes,
And
but
something that he said was that he felt that the costume for the Ortiz was heavier than the costume that he wore for the Fury fight. Now, I personally, when they were saying that, oh, the costume was too heavy, I personally didn't believe that he said it. So,
yeah, I think
Kevin
that came out
Aioli,
right after. But I never
well,
heard him saying that.
no, no, okay, I'm going to tell you something. So, Kevin Aioli was the one that did the interview. It was a phone interview. It wasn't done directly after the fight, but it was done like a few days later. Now, when this was said that he said that, I personally didn't believe it. So, Ishe Smith and myself were going back and forth. Kevin Aioli got into, Ishe invited Kevin Aioli into the conversation, and Kevin Aioli was like, okay, if you make a donation of $100, because it was me and another guy, if you each make a donation of $100, I will release the audio of Deontay Wilder saying this. Now, I said, bet, I'll take you up on it. So I donated 100. There was another kid on Twitter donated $100, and Ishe Smith said he'll donate $200. And Kevin Aioli did release a audio of it, but he released a 15-second clip of it. He didn't. I was hoping that he would just release the whole
The
interview.
whole interview, yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, but what he did was like a 15-second clip. He released it on Twitter, and like I said, Wilder did say it. I heard it, but I didn't hear the rest of the conversation. I heard like a 15-second clip.
Oh my God. Miguel says, remember when Canelo refused to give Lance interviews for. I honestly don't remember that. And again, fighters, again, they don't owe the media jack shit. And I think that it should be that way of if these guys are going to be so unapologetically one-sided, then maybe they shouldn't be going to these things, but at the same time, they're big writers. They need to be there and they have a big platform. So you can't really kick those guys out realistically, but I wish more fighters held them accountable. You know what I mean? I
But
wish
another
more fighters held them accountable and say, hey, like there's a clear bias going on here. And again, like I've told you, you can, I think a lot of journalists, especially with the ones with big flat platforms, are scared to come out with these stories about Wilder's side of things because they think that if they release the information, then it means that they believe it and it means that they are backing it up, right? But it shouldn't be that way because if you're a sports writer, shit, I don't care what guy is telling me something. I'd rather go with both and hear each side and still write shit from their specific angle because that's what you learn in school. You learn to take angles of whoever you're interviewing. You don't interview one person and then take the angle of someone else and use that person you interview's own words against them. You do each side objectively and you release an interview with each on their own specific tones. You don't just like, oh, Wilder said this, now I'm gonna write a fucking article about how much he's delusional or how deluded he is while I praise this other fighter. So I wish it was more of a like, hey, I'm gonna take this information and release it and let the public
Mhm.
realize what they want to do with the information, if that makes any sense. But I just feel like people do really think that, if they write about Wilder having these accusations and asking him, because like Wilder said, they had his phone number, they could have had direct quotes from him, and I wish they would have called them so they could have reported on both sides and not just gone with whatever.
I mean, you can also say that you don't believe that the excuses that he made, but you could say, hey, listen, I may not agree with what he said, but he is entitled to his trilogy. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a signed contract.
There you
Um,
go. Thank you. So Brown
you
gone
know,
one says the first fight was a draw and the second determined the actual winner. There was no need for a third. So I think Fury. I think Fury won both. Obviously the second one, but I think Fury won the first one. Now though, I. The thing about me is that I'm a fucking stay consistent, and I always stay consistent. And once I change my mind, I say, "Hey, like, okay, I changed my mind." I got on JoJo's ass for not giving Farmer the rematch. And it's all in the contract, and same thing with Wilder. I don't agree with people who redirect that anger about Fury versus Joshua not happening to Wilder. Wilder is only trying to exercise what was in a contract. It's not. It should have been Fury's. People should be angry either at Fury for trying to negotiate other fights when he knew damn well there was an arbitration going on and waited until that settled to try to do something else. And then low key Eddie Hearn. Because Eddie Hearn was the one that was really feeding people the idea that this fight, and not just the fans, big writers. So big writers should be pissed at Eddie Hearn too, right? For feeding them this information that the fight was basically done, that the Saudi Arabian prince was like in and already had given them the money, that they should be signed by this date and it was going to be this date and now this date, right? So I think, why be mad at Wilder? All he did was like, hey, you were supposed to fight me before December 2020 and you didn't. And I get that COVID happened, but at the same time, like, hey, like, I gave you the chance when I didn't have to give you the chance to fight me, and I did, and there's a rematch clause. So hey, like, this is a thing that was in a contract. If it wasn't in the contract, then I would be like, well, tough tits, Wilder, like, you lost, tough tits. But it
but
was
yeah,
in a contract, and
yeah, but
people
that's
don't
that,
understand that.
that's when journalistic integrity comes into place. I mean, I understand that these writers need access to fighters, and who gives them the access? The promoters, the ones that give them the access. But at the same time, you have Bob Arum, you have Eddie Hearn feeding these writers, these stories, but they're not fact checking it. I'm just a boxing fan, and I knew for a fact that there was an arbitration, and I knew the process of the arbitration because I do a lot of reading, I talk to different people. So it's like, if
Not
I knew
just
that
that,
this
like,
would,
you don't have to be like a law major or like be familiar with laws to realize that when you're in a binding contract and you're like in an arbitration, you can't just like fuck around and go do some other shit.
and it
Like, you
wasn't,
can't.
and the funny thing is,
You'll get your ass sued real quick.
was that the way the contract was written for the trilogy, it was there was an additional clause that Deontay Wilder's team asked for, meaning that if this came up that Fury wanted to pull out of the fight, they will not go to a regular court. It will be mediation first, and then after mediation, if they can't have a solution, then it'll go to arbitration. And
Trust me,
then
I have kids. I know everything about mediation and all of that shit. So I'm very familiar with how
yeah,
that works.
so it's like, Bob Arum out there saying, "Well, I don't think Shelly Finkel read the contract." No, motherfucker, you didn't read the contract, and if
He's
you
old.
did, yeah. So, but that's who people are believing.
So Combat Talk says Fury won convincingly, which we can all agree on. Uh, I think again, I think he won the first one because I feel like he won every round. He didn't get knocked down in, and he only got knocked down 2 rounds, right? But can we all agree that Fury's gloves do look suspicious? I
I
think we
feel
can
that,
all agree that they do kind of look suspicious. But again, it comes back to all leather bands, and it's just Canelo has that a picture like that too. So yes, they
but
look
it's not
fishy,
just
but I
it's
feel
not
like
it's
people
not
can.
just it's not just the picture though. If you look at the video, I mean, uh, these gloves are especially they have big hands, so these gloves are going to be tight on their hands. I've spoken to glove makers, I've spoken to fighters themselves, and they say, listen, these guys got big hands. There's no fucking way that gloves that are feel that fit that tight, because they also fit tighter because of the hand wraps. So there's no way that a glove is going to be flapping like that, the way that his glove was flapping. um but yeah, it's look, in my opinion, I feel that the first fight, I thought it was a draw. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, if you look at the first 5 rounds, Fury didn't do a lot. He did a lot of feinting, he did a lot of, whatever, but he actually didn't do a lot. And then he got put on his ass twice. So, you could give Wilder 3 out of those first 5 rounds, in my opinion. And then the 2 knockdowns could be, or if you gave him 4 out of the first 5 and the 2 knockdowns is a win. So it depends.
Hmm. See, I was there, and to me, but again, I wasn't a nosebleed, so um there's people saying that gloves don't bend that way. The footage is there, and I don't know if Adi, you have the pictures. If you want to like show them on here, send them to me so we could put them and we could maybe talk about it while they're here
Um,
listening to motivational tapes. He definitely had, hey Chad, how are you, como estás? Yeah, he was just the whole time. Timothy says the bending was first fight glove flip back, leaving cuff knuckle. Fury was left to Jeff Horn in his ass second. Wilder also was not prepared and could not lock AC joints for deep pocket strokes. I don't know what any of that means, but I think he's
um,
arguing that yeah, Fury cheated. ¿Qué onda, Jesse? How are you? Combat says I think Fury wins again, but not as brutal as last time since he's been watched closely now. No more cheating, but he's very skillful, and I'll give him that dub. I honestly feel like I I I feel like he'll win again, but when people say, "Oh, like nobody wants this fight," it's bullshit because Wilder has that fucking power that can change shit at any minute, right?
and
So
the
the,
thing
for
is,
people who say that, "Oh, no one wants that," I don't mind it. Just like
listen,
I don't mind
the
it.
heavyweight
It's
the
heavyweight.
heavyweight division the heavyweight division without Deontay Wilder is boring. So they could shit on Wilder all they want or say whatever. It's the fight is going to be exciting and people are going to tune in to watch it. Um,
And that's a sick ass undercard, by the way. The first undercard was like, whatever, right? This is a heavyweight, showdown in the entire pay per view card. And the pay per view is hella fucking worth it, honestly. It really
Now,
is.
another thing that I found very
Right, Miguel?
interesting, and something that I found very interesting was that Sugar Hill was asked after the press conference. He was asked, like, because Fury did say, "Oh, I'm gonna come in at a 300 pounds, so I could,
Yeah,
like,
that's
knock him
crazy. Why
out."
would he say that?
Hold on. So they asked Sugar Hill, "Hey, why does he need to be 300 pounds?
He's like, so he can get power.
He can go power." So that means that the second fight, he wasn't 300 pounds the second fight. So
Yeah, and again, that's why I really want the third fight to be a statement, from either fighter. I am not rooting for a specific fighter. I'm not, I just want whoever to make that statement. I want Fury to go, if he truly didn't cheat, to be like, look at me, full transparency. You give me the fucking gloves on fight night, I'm gonna still beat this dude's ass. Right? Like you do that. Like you pick the gloves, you tell me whatever. And I want, if that is that, then I want that. Or if on Wilder's side, I want him to show that he's been working. Because even if he loses, if he shows that he's been training and he has something different, pulling stuff out of it, up his sleeve, that'd be amazing to see. To see him grow as a fighter, to not just depend on his power, but also I would love to see him not get beat up in that fashion. So he could be like, look, like there was something going on then in the second half, in the second fight, for me for this to have happened to me. But at the same time, we saw the same thing with AJ, when they get hit in that specific part of the head, like right here, and it fucks up the entire equilibrium. Wilder also got hit there by Fury. So a lot of people feel like that could also be a possibility, that's why his legs weren't the same anymore. That's why after that he just couldn't, he couldn't recover from that because they get hit in this area that's like your whole equilibrium is fucked up. We saw it happen to to Joshua with Andy, right? So this happened with him with Andy in the same round, by the way, third and seventh, which to me that's always been hella fucking weird. Like, what are the odds that both Fury, I mean, that both Wilder and Joshua get dropped in the third and then end in the seventh? Like that to me was like, oh, that's too weird for me.
Yeah.
But like it's that shot that they land in the equilibrium, and I don't know if you saw the the little documentary the Zone did for Joshua versus Andy too, and they have commentating from Fury, and then they have not from Fury, I mean from Mike Tyson, and then Holyfield, and they both talk about getting hit in that specific spot and how much it can ruin your legs. So when that happened, I just thought that's what it was. To this day, I feel like I feel like that's what it was. I feel like that's what weakened Wilder's legs. I don't think
Yeah,
it
I
was
just
maybe
feel
the
like
gloves. I don't think it was the cheating. I think it was just that equilibrium shot.
yeah, I just feel like his legs were gone after the first round. I mean, like by the second round, his legs were gone,
He
and
didn't look
and
the same. He never
he didn't
looked
look
the
the
same.
same. That's what I'm saying. Like he just didn't look right. So
And then his
with that
eyes were
being,
all bloodshot. Like, what's going on?
yeah, I mean, when he took the mask off, you could tell his eyes were like glossy. It was just weird. It was just weird. I don't know what it was, to be honest, but I feel like, look, if Tyson Fury goes in there and smashes Wilder again and beats his ass, they be like, okay. But if Wilder comes in there and the fight looks nothing like the second one, then I'm gonna be like, yeah, this motherfucker definitely
Yeah.
cheated. If
See,
if
and
he's
that's
hitting
what I
Wilder,
think.
if he's hitting Wilder and Wilder's like taking that shit, I'm like, yeah, this motherfucker cheated.
See, that's what I think needs to happen for Wilder to have a case, for him to not get dominated that way. Arturo
Mm.
says, for the record, I'm disappointed the Fox News is boxing commentary is coming back. Jim Lambley. Oh my God, you guys are. The only commentating team that I can't stand is the Zone. Everybody else I could tolerate. The Zone is the worst. Like, what are they doing?
Chris
I don't
Mannix is
like.
the worst. I don't
And
know
they're
why
all
the
hating.
guy.
Like you could tell they have no chemistry. I see like better chemistry in a porn. Like they don't like each other. They're like just there to like fight each other and talk over each other. It's so childish. It's like fucking my dick is bigger type of fucking shit. I don't like it. I don't like it. So Arturo, I don't. Jim Lampley to me is not that bad. I think
I really didn't care for Jim Lampley either, but
yeah, I'm just like, I don't, whatever. Like, I don't mind many. I think the Zone is so bad that it made me not really care about the other ones. Like, the other ones are not that bad. Timothy said Lacing Grama did not run a clear into palm. Uh, Chris says Fury literally did nothing the first two rounds. Go rewatch it. I'm gonna have to, and I want to. That was my plan for today to go and study some tape. Lacing Grama did not run clean. Oh, I already read that. Wilder's blooded Fury nose in four or fifth. Yeah, I need to go back and watch that fight, honestly.
yeah, if you watch the first fight, I feel like he didn't do much the first 6 rounds. I feel like Fury didn't really do much the first 5 rounds. He didn't do shit. So
Okay, so I don't know if you want to stay. I want you to stay. Let's talk about this weekend's fight. We talked already about the Wilder Fury stuff. Hopefully, we keep talking about it as time comes near for the fight. But of course, we have a lot of going on this weekend. We got Inoue fighting. A lot of people are mad about the fact that kind of Top Rank is not really doing what they feel is best for Inoue's career. We got the Teofimo fight, who got canceled because Teofimo got COVID-19. Which sucks because all those fighters are kind of going under now. They were prepared. A lot of them were already in Miami, so that's fucking a lot of boxers up. We got the Charlo fight, Charlo Montiel, which that fight is going under a lot of people's radar. Like not the main event. I love the undercard. Like Angela Leo's back, give me that. Isaac Cruz is back, give me that too. I love those two fighters. And yes, cool boy Steph is just on some other level shit. But Angela Leo's still such a great fighter, and I'm excited to see him. So let's talk about what fight you guys in the comments and what we got, what people are looking forward to seeing. And of course, Combat Talks is them Eddie, good pun and for his weight situation. Yeah, so thank you, Eddie, for coming on because I really like to have actual conversation. And as you know, sometimes we debate, but I don't like to get like ugly on debates. We're all fans here. We all got a point. So thank you so much for coming in and explaining that to me because you had told me before, like, oh, I'll explain it to you. But I feel like in writing, I don't have that attention span.
Yeah, it's hard,
I'm
what I'm
glad that
gonna
we
do
did it
is,
over video.
no, but listen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna send you the pictures that I have. I'll send them to you through Twitter, and
Ah, yes.
then if you want to bring them up and show them, you know, knock yourself out.
I'm down for that. I'm solely down for that. But thank you again for coming in and explaining that whole situation because yeah, we all heard the accusations. Yes, everything that's been happening, but I never really looked into it because again, I just believe it was that equilibrium shot that just messed up Wilder's legs. But thank you for the input and of course send all that shit over my way so maybe we can, keep talking about it. But I do appreciate it. Let people know where they can follow you.
Iron Boxing Talk on Twitter, on YouTube. I don't put any content out on YouTube, but I do like to. I occasionally go on as guests in different channels. So yeah, just Ari underscore Boxing Talk on Twitter,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
Ari
pretty
how
much
it's
it.
spelled on his name.
Yep.
Underscore boxing talk.
Yeah, it's Ari. I'm Dominican, but English. A lot of people get confused.
All right, thank you, Addie, so much for joining me, and
Thank
then
you.
send me the stuff on the DMs, please.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, bye. Not right now. Sorry, baby. Okay, so let's. This comment's probably one of my favorite comments of the night. By the way, I love that. Y'all are out of pocket, but yes. Timothy says, "What I meant is Wilder suffocates himself inside and freezes in." Fight because of short straws do not come from the same origin as straight red. Well, hopefully he learned something good from Malik Scott, right? Happened to Burchett. What I meant. Oh, sorry, I already. So let's talk about the weekend. Yeah, sorry, we talked a lot. Wilder keeps going through. We talked a lot about the situation, but it's because again, we've all been hearing these allegations again. I didn't believe the glove gate stuff. I was upset. Actually, I was very bummed out by Wilder making these excuses. It made me bummed out. I initially when I was hearing all these things, it made me angry because I was like, fuck, like I wish he would just say, oh well, I lost this one, but let's see, there's a rematch clause, so let's see, hopefully I get better. That's all I would be like, cool, let's just see a third fight. But and again, I thought the equilibrium thing was, the reason, but here we are. And I do though agree that he did deserve the rematch because it's just in a contract. You can't fucking sign a contract and later be like, nope, never mind, not fighting you. I'm gonna go fight this guy instead. And then also because it's true, like the media has been doing Wilder dirty. They have been not giving him the chance of day, and as unbiased media, it's your job to give each fighter the platform to say what they believe is right in their situation and just translate uh that information to the public and let them decide what to do with it. And I feel like Wilder has not been getting that chance. So thank you for sticking through Um all of that, all that Fury talk. Wait, all I've been hearing about Wilder improving on Malik, so the fight's different now because he has. No, that's another good thing. Brown gone. Good point. If he does fight better, let's give proper credit where it's due, and that would be to Malik. So good point there. Let's move on to Teofimo with COVID. Obviously, you can't control that. You can't control people giving you COVID. And even when maybe he didn't get vaccinated and he is in Vegas and Vegas reopened. I don't think it's that much of a coincidence because Vegas reopened. No masks and everything since earlier in June. So, I feel like there might be a possibility, especially if it's in a gym where there's different people coming in and out, that maybe he did get COVID, but there is people saying that people are there's some foul stuff going on here where they don't want to compete with the other fights, especially because this one is a pay-per-view, right? The other ones are just on what we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing, the Fox or Showtime, and we're used to seeing ESPN. Triller, whatever the fuck is called. They are their own thing, their own platform, and I feel like they're scared to maybe go against the usual boxing platforms that we're used to seeing. And again, I think they're charging like $30 a month, which is a lot compared to the other ones. ESPN is only $5 if you have the ESPN Plus, and you don't need to have a cable subscription. It's just $5. And like people who have Showtime, they just have Showtime, or else it's $15 a month if you don't have it, right? So yeah, I can see why some people believe that they just don't want to compete, but that would really, the reason why I don't want to believe that is because there's a lot of fighters who are getting fucked over. I would like to think that they would think about those fighters. And I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Chris, I know he brought it up earlier. I'm sorry, Chris. We got really carried away with the Wilder versus Fury talk, but you did bring this up earlier today about Teofimo signing with Top Rank. I'm honestly surprised as fuck about that too, because we know that since defeating Lomachenko, he's been very vocal about the fact that Top Rank didn't believe in him to do it, and even centered his next 3 fights purse based on him losing to Lomachenko. They based his whole next couple of purses on him losing to Lomachenko and how much he would get paid after losing to Lomachenko, right? And I don't know if you guys saw the freaking graphic that Top Rank put out. Top Rank put out a graphic with it was Crawford on it. There was Inoue, Michaela Myers, I think Navarrete was on there. They had their top rank stable, and they didn't include Teofimo on it. And that to me was like a little sketch. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, why is Top Rank doing this? And a lot of people are saying, well, right now Teofimo's in another promotional, company or whatever, so they're not gonna promote him. It's not right now. Top Rank is not gonna promote Teofimo because he's not with them right now for this specific fight. But when I'm gonna show you guys, and this is a meme, so I'm gonna show it to you guys. Um, I'm gonna show you guys a meme. It's still, that rubbed me off a little bit the wrong way, and this is by Boxiana. So thank you, Boxiana, for this. I'm gonna share it right now. Boxiana said, I fixed it, and she put like the picture of Teofimo on there. But see, you see the graphic, it's Josh Taylor, Crawford, Michaela Meyer, Inoue, Jamal Herring, and of course, Shakur Stevenson, which we will talk about too. I know we've been here already for an hour, but we will make room. We will make time to talk about Shakur Stevenson's performance on Saturday. So yeah, of course you can say, hey, but they didn't put any other guys. They didn't put Valdez, or they didn't put other top ranked fighters. They didn't put Gay Flores, right? So I could see a lot of people say, oh, but Teofimo is a champion. A lot of people can argue that he is an undisputed champion. And instead of, they didn't put Josh Taylor either. I think Lomachenko's there, so they didn't even put Josh Taylor, and they didn't put Teofimo. So the original one was actually Lomachenko in the front, right here. Lomachenko was right here instead of. I wish I could find the original one, but they didn't even have. This is not Jamal Herring either. I think she fixed. She put in this one and this one. I think. They had not included them. I wish I could find the original one. If anybody has the original one, send it to me. But it was like it was. Thank you, Boxiana, for the thing. But if anybody has a real one, send it to me. But they didn't even put Josh Taylor or Teofimo. So that was a little sketch. I didn't like that very much. Let's. I don't think that's how boxing works, buddy. But Oh, you sent it to me. Okay, I'll show it right now. Can we talk about these boxes who we sign with these promotional companies? Yeah, I think it's the money. The money talks. And yeah, I'm gonna go look at those right now. Money talks. Garcia says getting disrespected by Oscar Golden with promotion to Alan Crawford by Top Rank. Yeah, I think it's just the money. Money talks, and oh my god, I'm so sweaty. Look at me. But money talks. But I agree. I don't get what it is about going back to a promotional company who's kind of like disrespected you. How many donuts have you ate, my dude? Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I don't get that either, but again, money talks. I think that's what it is. It's the money. Money's gonna make people resign, sign again and again. There's rumors that if Loma beats Nakatani, they do a pay-per-view for the rematch of Nakatani versus I mean, if Nakatani loses to Lomachenko, then he'll rematch He'll rematch Teofimo, and it'll be like a pay per view. And I'm honestly, I'm that's another, another of those fights that I would rather Teofimo fight uh Haney. I would love for Teofimo to fight Haney, but if that's not gonna happen, same thing with Wilder and Fury. I wouldn't mind a rematch because Lomachenko didn't do shit for 6 rounds. Lomachenko did nothing, but he looked pretty good. He looked pretty great the last 4 rounds, right? So I would love to see it. I would love to see that. And shout out to my homeboy Chris, because he just sent me the real thing. So they did push Josh Taylor in it. They left out Jamal Herring, and they left out Oscar Valdez, and they left out let me share the screen with you guys. And they left out Teofimo, which to me, again, that's fucking crazy. Those are champions. At least put them on there. At least put your champions on there. What the fuck? So let's see. Let's see. So that's the image, right? Let me blow it up. Thank you, Chris, for sending it to me because I didn't have it. Can I make this bigger? Let's see. Boop. So yeah, see, this oh shit, I blew it up too much. But this was basically the image, right? They got Inoue, they got Michaela Meyer, which props at least for including Michaela Meyer, Crawford, and Lomachenko. Not the guy who beat him and took his belts away. Lomachenko, and then Josh Taylor and Shakur Stevenson, right? They didn't put Valdez, they didn't put obviously Teofimo, and that's a little sketch to me. That rubbed me off the wrong way. I'm not gonna fucking lie. That kind of that rubbed me off the wrong way. Like, why are you doing that? I would, but I wouldn't mind the rematch. Let's see. Yeah, Josh Taylor was in the original photo. It's just, yeah, I don't get why. I just don't get why Teofimo after that. But I don't know. Money talks. Money talks. If he's happy, I think if they're giving him the money he wants, he's gonna be like, whatever, do what you want with your graphics. Say that Lomachenko's undefeated. Because remember, before that loss against Teofimo, Lomachenko had a loss against Salido, and they always promoted him as undefeated, right? So I think I saw a tweet where they said not only did Top Rank and ESPN delete the loss of Loma's first record, but they also erased the guy who gave him the second one, which is Teofimo, right? So that did rub me off the wrong way. Timothy Escambo's equal fight for Lopez. He's looking like going to be risky. So Teofimo got COVID. I wonder. Well, I'm not gonna sit here and claim that I'm like this informed person about Cambosos. I've seen some fights. I know he had a lot of bullshit going on with his mandatory, not as mandatory, but like the elimination bout or whatever. I know there was like some shit going on there, so it must be frustrating for Cambosos, like most definitely, especially on fight week. That must be really fucking shitty. And Natty says, I'd rather see Haney versus Teofimo. Me too. I'd rather see that, but they both don't look in any hurry to fight each other, which kind of sucks. I don't like that. But so if we can have that, I wouldn't mind the Loma. Um, Floyd Mayweather showed them a different way though. Let's see. Loma would destroy Theo. Well, I just don't know what to expect from Lomachenko anymore. I think I want to see how he would do against Nakatani, and I'm not counting Nakatani out. Nakatani is the one that put Verdejo on his ass. Fuck Verdejo. He's the one that offed not even his girlfriend. It was like his side piece that he had. I hate saying that word, but the affair he was having with this woman for a long, long time, and she was pregnant, and he coward ass fucking move and just destroyed their lives and destroyed his own life in the process. So props for Nakatani for beating Verdejo's ass. I love him. And then Nakatani gave Teofimo Lopez such a competitive fight that it made Lopez say, I'm not gonna fight any more tall guys. Remember how fucking Teofimo said that after the fight? That rubbed me off the wrong way too. I didn't like that he said, oh, I'm not fighting another tall guy again. To me, that shit was sketch. Like, why would you say that? But he gave Nakatani gave Lopez a great fight. So Nakatani is a tall, lengthy motherfucker. Like, I don't know how Loma's gonna have to be like a Manny Pacquiao, get in, get out, right? Land the punches and get out of the range, right? So I'm excited to see that. Loma shouldn't sleep on Nakatani. Yup, thank you, Bot 10. Thank you. I agree. He shouldn't. Who's the fighter of the far right? left side of Loma. Wait, what are you talking about? Shakur Stevenson? It's Shakur Stevenson on there. It's Shakur, Shakur Stevenson is Josh Taylor, uh, and right Crawford, Inoue. Let me pull it up again because I already forgot. I need to pull it up. Yeah, it's just Josh Taylor and Shakur Stevenson, and there's Crawford, Michaela Meyer, and Inoue. What if he loses to Nakatani? Then his ass needs to move back down to 130. I don't know what the fuck he's doing at 135. He needs to move back down to 130, 126 even. Lomachenko's tiny. I don't know what the fuck he's doing anyway. I never wanted him to move up. Like, there's so many good fights at 130, at 126 for him. He should have fought Mikey Garcia. That would have been an amazing fight at 130. You know, or even at 135. Fuck it. But now Mikey's, I don't think he'll go back down that low. I'm not mad at Shakur Stevenson's performance. I did feel like one of those boring fights by Mayweather. He's the one who will go home with injuries and he won't deal with that. Well, yeah, he sustains injuries and can recover from. We move on to the next fighter, so forgive him for playing it smart and preserving his body. The dude's still very young. So this is my take on Shakur Stevenson. I think it's impressive as hell that this kid doesn't let his opponents land many punches on him. This kid doesn't let his opponents land jack shit on him, which is impressive as hell, right? Like, this kid has such good movement. He's able to just control the guys, maintain his distance with a jab. Great, sweet science type of shit. My problem comes when you're not being offensive as much as we would like you to be. And of course, you're right. He's maybe he's young. He doesn't want to take any punishment. But goddamn, my dude, like, at least throw some more punches. Like, I would welcome like at least 10 more punches around, please. Like, Mayweather said it: hit and don't get hit. And Shakur Stevenson is doing a great job at not getting hit. But can he please hit too? Like, if he just picked it up a little bit, just a little bit. Like, I appreciate the sweet science. I like seeing a boxing clinic. I enjoy that. But just please a little bit. Just a little bit more punches, Shakur Stevenson. Because any other guy at 135 who's up there, 130, who's 130, 135, shit, I'm already fucked. 130. Any other guy at 130 would have gotten that opponent. Nakatali was his name? Nakila was his name? They would have gotten him out of there. Jamal Herring would have gotten that guy out of there. Valdez would have gotten that guy out of there. Any other guy at 135, 130, I mean, why do I keep saying 135? Because we're talking about Teofimo and shit. Any other guy at 130 would have gotten him out of there. That opponent out of it. And again, I appreciate him showing the sweet science, but at the same time, I wish he would be a little more busy. I really wish that. Like, it would be great. I was joking Crawford ain't making noise. What are y'all talking about? Loma versus Valdez at 130. That I really wanted to see Loma versus Berchelt too. I wanted to see Loma versus Tank. I wanted to see Loma against all these guys. Tank, Berchelt. I thought Berchelt was gonna be a good fight with Loma. Like, I would have loved to see that. But he had to move up. He only got hit like 4 times. Yeah, no, I think he doesn't. For Joet didn't land shit on him either. Like, I have yet to see anybody land like a cool, actual, well, executed punch on Shakur Stevenson, and that is fucking impressive. But I still want him to punch a little bit more. Timothy, wow, yeah, Loma versus Mikey. Sorry, my comments are late. Oh, no worries. I always talk anyway. Just let them flow by. I get excited. Some topics. I think we all get excited. That's like the thing about boxing fans, right, Timothy? We all get super excited about these topics. Shakur gotta understand, as Ward and Tim said, you gotta take a risk. You gotta take a risk, and you gotta eventually aim to finish a guy. See, I have no problem of him displaying his skills and seeing, like, look, motherfucker, you can't touch me. But I think after like 5-6 rounds of that, be like, okay, now I'm gonna step on the foot pedal. I already proved that you can't touch me. So now I'm gonna finish you. I'm not gonna play with my food anymore. Like Floyd said, and I know I keep quoting Floyd, but they don't pay him per round, right? Like after a certain, once you're no longer a prospect, they don't pay you per round. They pay you, right, just to you know what you're getting. Get that dude out of there. So that's all I wish he was a little bit more, busy. Tank would have gotten that dude. Oh my god, would have gotten that dude out in 3 rounds. Yeah, Tank has a lot of power though. But yes, people just don't play with their food. Folks gotta stop bringing up Floyd because he was dropping. Yeah, especially Pretty Boy Floyd. Pretty Boy Floyd was not fucking around. Ari says the problem with Shakur is that we don't know if he has a dog in him because what? Yeah. So I think hopefully we see that with better opponents coming up, and I hope. But the time to show that he has a dog in him is now, right? Against these guys who are lower opposition. Batin Shakur versus Nakatila. Batin. Oh my god, you're so mean. Shakur got hit with some solid shots. He had power. I didn't like that. Yeah, I didn't like that post fight interview. Was like I didn't like that either. How he's like he had an awkward style. I'm like awkward. Like he didn't do nothing. Like what do you mean? The way the ref was acting, I was hoping that Shakur would end the fight early. Same here. Walter once said, "I don't get paid overtime." Yes, so I love these. That everybody remembers like these quotes that are relevant, right? They don't get paid overtime. They don't get paid per round. Why play with your food? That you already showed us that you got the skills, my dude. Like, I don't think anybody questions that Shakur Stevenson is one skillful motherfucker, but like what you're gonna do. So before we leave, oh no, hold on, I would love to hear your thoughts on the state of boxing. Do you think fans are watching these YouTubers because you're no? Thank you for asking. I don't think the boxing fans are watching YouTubers because the top guys don't fight each other. I don't think there's a lot of people who really enjoy let's see, okay, these YouTubers are putting on boxing gloves, but just because they're putting on boxing gloves doesn't mean this is a boxing fight. These are still exhibitions, and they're not really fighting real opponents, right? And I can see why some people are mad about that, because you take these guys who just because they have a platform get to make millions of dollars, while guys who have spent their whole lives training for this, for half of praying for half of the freaking attention, half of the publicity, don't get that chance, right? But no, I think they have their own audience. My kids were watching that fucking TikTok versus YouTuber fight on Saturday, right? I had to put it on here in the room while I was in the living room watching something else, and I put it for them in the living room. So they have their own audience. And you can be a hardcore boxing fan and still enjoy those fights, because at the end of the day, those are entertainment. And you know what to expect. You're not expecting like some fucking cool boxing ability, right? You're expecting these guys to throw some wild ass punches, knock each other out, or land some dumb punches, or just, talk more beef than actual fight. That's what you expect. I don't think any actual boxing fan goes into watching these fights like, oh, I'm gonna see some amazing boxing ability today. Like, no, they know this is entertainment. They know this is just bullshit. And in a way, you're kind of right. If we can't get the good fights that we want, we're gonna resort to watching shit like this. But at the same time, it doesn't mean we don't want to still watch real boxing, right? Because yeah, we would love the best of every division to fight the best of every division, but there's also some really decent fights going on that are still great fights, and that you still want to see them regardless of whether it's the top guy or regardless whether there's a belt involved or not, right? So that's why I went on that rant earlier about boxing fans blaming YouTubers for the demise of boxing, when in reality boxing itself has too many problems that have nothing to do with the YouTubers. And I feel like the YouTubers at this point are just like the scapegoat, right? We got all these fucking belts. WBA has like 5 belts and five champions in like one division, right? Because they have the WBA super, the regular WBA, the gold, the silver, right? Intercontinental, international. I don't even know all the WBA belts, right? And then we have the WBC with all their stupid ass belts too, right? They fucking have the interim, the franchise shit, right? Like they got all this shit going on. IBF, just luckily they just have one that I know of. Maybe they also have like some sort of interim and shit, but there's too many belts. There shouldn't be that many belts, right? There should be a undisputed champ, and they should all want to be undisputed, every single fighter. But because there's all these belts, they're like this is my belt and I am a champion and I'm holding on to this for as long as I fucking can, right? Because they don't want to not be champions. They want to at least I'm this sanctioning body's champion, right? I might not be more than one, but I'm this one. And then they can pick and choose which fighter has a belt that they feel they want and then avoid the others as long as they're fighting the mandatories for their. So that's, to me, that's a bigger problem than the YouTubers. Promotional companies not working together to fight each other or in each other's platforms. That's a big fucking problem, right? So it's not just the YouTubers, it's just all of it. So the YouTubers, they have their own audience. Do I respect it? Not really. I wish real boxers got this much attention and this much money, but I guess it also teaches these boxers, the new generation, to fucking market yourself. That social media unfortunately matters. Social media unfortunately matters. Right? Ryan Garcia got like fucking 10 million fans across all social medias. That matters. When I would go cover his fights here in StubHub or at the Indio, a bunch of little 15, 12, 15-year-old girls. Doesn't matter. He sold out. These little girls are begging their parents for money, whatever. Buy this, don't buy this. It matters, right? So it's just, I wish we'd get more of actual boxers getting this type of attention. Not that I'm calling Ryan Garcia not an actual boxer. He definitely is. But I just wish, I can see why some are angry because they grew up and dedicated their entire, sometimes even childhood, right? Childhood, teenage years, sacrificed a lot of stuff that they could have had for boxing and to just have a good payday, to just have some good publicity, and they're not getting that because there's the YouTubers. But again, that is not the YouTubers' fault that this is what the market is like now. So I guess it just teaches them to market themselves and to a certain extent have some sort of life outside the ring and some transparency outside the ring and build a connection with fans and shit in social media, right? So yeah, thank you for sharing. I really enjoy life. Thank you. And again, um, I will be going to Mexico this weekend. I'll be going to Mexico on Saturday, but coming back, I will have a schedule. And again, you can follow me on my social medias. I'm gonna put the little ticker. You can follow me on my social media so that you can see um when I'm gonna come back, and I can show you guys how I'm gonna what days. It's most likely gonna be Mondays and Fridays. Fridays, so we can discuss, the upcoming fights, and I could give you guys predictions. And by the way, Chris, I'm gonna go ahead and get my predictions right now. Um, and so that we can on Friday so we can make predictions and talk about what's coming on the weekend. And then Monday so we can recap everything that happened. And then again, I quit my job, so I'm gonna be here all the time, and I'm gonna try to make videos as they come. Like I'm gonna make videos as they I'm gonna try to like make like today. I mean, I was at the press conference, but if there wasn't a press conference, I would have been like, "Oh hey, like Teofimo just tested positive, blah 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 blah," and that wouldn't be a live. That'd just be kind of like a quick video. So expect that from me starting July. Starting July, when I come back from vacation, I'm gonna be all business in the boxing world, trying to just do all that. So prediction of the fights first, and then lastly, before we leave, we're gonna show those Wilder Fury pictures that Adi sent me. So let's go on the ESPN um list of boxing fights coming up, so I can give a prediction for the ones. And again, we have a lot, and I feel like a lot. That's why a lot of people believe that it was bullshit that Teofimo tested positive, because they're competing with a lot of other fights that people do want to see, right? So I feel like I get it. I kind of get where people are coming from, but I don't like making accusations like that. Maybe if I was like a boxing insider, I would be like, oh yes, like I'd be making those claims too, right? So let's see what we got going on this weekend, shall we? And make predictions, and you guys can make predictions too, and I'll share them on here. All right, so we got Naoya Inoue versus Michael Dasmariñas. Of course, like this is a fight nobody asked for. Nobody asked for this. Nobody wanted this. We want Naoya Inoue to fight the best opposition. But I'm gonna give Top Rank like kind of like a, I'm gonna let them go on this one because he fought. But this wasn't. When did he fight that Maloney brother? He fought that like in October, right? Which yeah, it's been a while. So I wish I now yeah I think now Inoue is just gonna come back and kick this guy's dude's ass, and I'm really excited to see it because I love knockouts and I love Naoya Inoue. No slander for Naoya Inoue on this. And Michaela Myers, Erika Fari. Maya, she is such a sound boxer, dude. Like, she is so fucking good. This girl is so fucking talented. She's the real deal. I mean, we need more attention to women's boxing, and Michaela Meyer is a top dog. Like, she is so fucking talented, and I love, I love to follow her on Twitter. She's amazing. Adam Lopez versus Isaac Dogboy. That's actually the fight that I want to see the most because Adam Lopez, he's the one that dropped Oscar Valdez in short notice. Adam Lopez took the Valdez fight within like 2 days notice, and he dropped Valdez. Do you guys remember that? You guys know how I'm talking about? This guy dropped Valdez. So this kid, I'm already a fan of. He won a fight against, who did he fight last? I forgot who he fought last. That it was like a really close fight, but he ended up taking it. Remind me in the comments. I can't think of the name. I just remember that it was such a good fight, and it was like super freaking close, and they gave him the nod. Great. I love Adam Lopez. His nickname's Blue Nose. He's a guy that dropped Valdez in a 2-day fucking fight notice. And I also thought the stoppage was kind of like fucking fast. I don't think the fight should have been stopped. Isaac Dogboy, we know he's the one that took Jesse Magdaleno's title. He knocked out Jesse Magdaleno to get that WBO belt, and then he lost twice to Navarrete. But he's a dog boy. I say dog boy because that's what Danny Roman calls him. He's like Isaac dog boy. Isaac dog boy. He is so fucking. I love his whole personality has that Niho thing. He screams. I top dude. I love his fights. He's very entertaining. Yes, he got his ass beat by Navarrete, but he's a good fight. Like, he is entertaining. So actually, about all these fights, that's the one I want to watch. I'm the most excited about Adam Lopez versus Isaac Dogboy. That's gonna be a great fight, and I feel like it's gonna be like super, like just back and forth. It's gonna be amazing. We know Lindolfo Delgado versus Salvador Briseño. I think Delgado Lindolfo out of RGBA. I think he's gonna take it. I don't know the other ones. I'm sorry. I don't know the last three. I'm sorry. We also have Jamal Charlo versus Juan Macias Montiel. I think Jamal Charlo is gonna be taking this guy's head off easily because if you remember, Macias Montiel lost to Munguia, right? And he did beat Kirkland pretty bad, right? We saw that he knocked out Kirkland, but Kirkland's been gone, so I don't give him too much credit for that. So I think Jamal Charlo should have a very highlight reel type of knockout in this, and I'm excited to see it. And hopefully after this, he can move on to better fights and better opposition, just like his brother. And then we have Quadratillo Abdukarakorov versus Barrio Nuevo. That one I have to do more research on. I'm not really familiar with either of their styles. Angelo Leo versus Aaron Alameda. Chef's kiss. I want to see Angelo Leo win. I want to see him come back from that loss against Cool Boy Steph. And of course, again, like I mentioned, Cool Boy Steph is just on some other level. But Angelo Leo's fucking young, and he, I mean, I think they're the same age actually. But I think he did great. He didn't get like completely outclassed. It was a very competitive matchup, but there was a clear winner in Cool Boy Steph. And Isaac Cruz versus Francisco Vargas. Oh my God. Out of that card, that's the one I want to see. Because Francisco Vargas, he swells up. Francisco Vargas is always looks like he stuck his fucking head in a beehive when he's done fighting. And we saw what Berchel done to him. That fight with Takashi Miura was probably one of the best fights I ever fucking seen in my life. I love this guy. I love Francisco Vargas, but he just gets hit too much. He has no defense. We saw what Isaac Cruz did to Diego Magdaleno. We saw what Isaac Cruz been doing to his opponents. I can't wait. I think that's gonna be a very brutal knockout. I think Isaac Cruz is gonna just and I hope Vargas retires after this because Vargas has taken some serious punishment in his boxing career. But I do want to see some ass beating for a last time. I'm not trying to sound mean. Vargas is a great fighter. We know what he did to Salka after he wore those fucking build the wall type fucking shorts, right, to fight him. And I'm glad that he beat Salka. But I think Isaac Cruz, has just the momentum, has the power to really put a beating on Francisco Vargas. And out of this card, I love Angelo Leo versus Aaron Alameda. That's going to be a great fight. Aaron Alameda is not some pushover. And we saw that, right? Alameda is no pushover. We saw that shit in his last fight. And even when he lost, like he didn't look bad. But this the card opener, Cruz versus Francisco Vargas, I think that's gonna give us some blood. We're definitely gonna see some bloodshed on that one for sure. And of course, from Mexico, pay-per-view, Jalisco, Mexico, we got the exhibition with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. versus Anderson Silva. I don't know if you guys are gonna be tuning into that. I know I am, just for the shits and giggles, like I mentioned. I know this ain't real boxing, but that should make me laugh, and I'm just gonna have a beer and watch these. Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. versus Hector Camacho Jr. That's gonna be fucking lit, right? Because it's not Camacho, but it's Camacho Jr. And there's obviously some cool shit going on there. Omar Chavez versus Ramon Alvarez, who, as we know, is El Canelo's brother. Ramon Alvarez is Canelo's brother, so this is gonna be like a cool fight. And honestly, I'm not too familiar with everybody else, so I'm not gonna be making a lot on those. And then another one, June 19th, Munguia versus. Who's he fighting? Is he fighting? Who's Munguia fighting? I don't even know. This to be announced. Who the fuck is he fighting? Oh, guys, I'm gonna go in the comments right now. Sorry, I was looking at this thing. Who's Munguia fighting? Because at first he was gonna fight Sulecki, and that fucking got fucked up. Then he was supposed to fight. Who else was he supposed to fight? That like. I forgot who else he was supposed to fight with that. And then Meliscusia versus Gabe Rosado. That's a really good fight because, again, Gabe Rosado is another one of those guys who gets his ass beat, but he puts up a good fight. And if you remember, he fought Daniel Jacobs last, right? He fought Daniel Jacobs. A lot of people feel like Gabe, won. A lot of people feel like Gabe won that fight, right? And Gabe, win or lose, Gabe always puts on a good fight. That Gabe Rosado versus Sulecki fight was super fucking good. They dropped each other. That was a good fight. So I'm always down for a Gabe Rosado fight. And we know Melikusiev. We know he don't got the best defense. So they're both gonna be going at it. And then Zamora versus Marlene Esparza. That's great because that's for a women's flyweight title. And we know that Marlene Esparza beat Sulem Uribe. I'm sorry. She's cool, but I forgot her last name. She just beat Sulem, who is very active on Twitter and very loved on Twitter. And then she had that grueling war with Ceniza Estrada, who, yes, Ceniza won, but Marlene was getting some good punches in. Isbeth Zamora is actually the champion right now, so Marlene is contending for this title, and I think she's gonna get it. And of course, we got Blair, Cobbs, which shit. That dude's funny as fuck. And Brad Salomon, who no, Brad Salomon's only loss comes to Virgil Ortiz Jr. or second loss, I think. Point is, Brad Salomon had never been dropped until Virgil dropped him, or never been stopped until Virgil stopped him. And then Blair Cobbs, we know he is one to fall, get dropped, but then get his ass up and win fights. Blair Cobbs has gotten dropped so many times, and he still gets up and wins. So I'm excited to see Blair Cobbs versus Brad Salomon. I think this is a really good fight too. Overall, I really like the Golden Boy card. I just don't know who Jaime Munguia is gonna fight. I'll go look at the comments right now. You guys probably know. So it's a stacked ass fucking Saturday. And now it's making more sense why maybe Teofimo didn't want to compete against all this. Let me go in the comments so I can wrap it up. Oh, Sermenta, you're right. Okay, let me go back to the comments. Yeah. Yes, you guys can always join me, and anybody here in the chat, if you follow me on social media and you tell me, hey Lily, can I jump on the next one? Fuck yeah, you can. Buster Douglas upset. I am Mike. Talk you later. Right back. Tradition. I like women's boxing just as much as men's. Yeah, women's boxing, I think the only people who don't like it, they don't watch the good kind. Just like there's bad male boxing fights, there's bad. It's just I love women's boxing. It's cool. Yo, what Clarissa about her? Yo, Clarissa, I cried when she won. She's a shit. She didn't have to do this. I loved it. I oh my god, Clarissa, I'm so proud of her. I was there when she had her pro debut. She had her pro debut in the undercard. She was the opener for the first Kovalev versus Ward, and I was there, and she fought Franchon Cruz Dezern, who's lovely. Franchon Cruz Dezern is also fighting, right? She's fighting in the one here in the Bank of California, I think. Point is, no, she was supposed to fight on Triller, right? I think. Oh no, Franchon Cruz. I'm so sad for her. Franchon Cruz is shit, but Clarissa beat her. Clarissa, I know a lot of people don't like her. I love Clarissa. She shouldn't get the hate that she does. I fucking love Clarissa, and I'm so fucking proud of her. Once Navarrete moves on to, well, yeah, they're saying that Shakur moved up after Navarrete went up. So those are some claims people are making. Not sure where I seen it, but they took Clarissa off the pound for pound list and women's go. I know that. I don't think she should be. I mean, unless she's staying on MMA forever, but I feel like they should have waited to take her off. Like, I don't know. See, and then a lot of people initially were like, "Oh, why are you guys giving Clarissa props? Like, she fought the person she fought is not a champion." Like, what person, what athlete do you know that first fight off they're already fighting a champion? This was her pro debut in MMA. Like, it's not like she trained for 7 months, 7, 8, 9 months. What person trains 7, 8, 9 months and goes into a sport they've never fucking done and wins? I don't care if people say, "Oh, it wasn't a champion," or the opposition wasn't right. What do you know how your favorite fighter started fighting in his fucking pro debut? Probably a guy with 100 losses and 1 win or something, right? So I don't like that argument. And then of course somebody's like, "Well, Lomachenko fought some good opposition in his first fights." Yeah, motherfucker, Lomachenko had 300, like over 300 fucking amateur fights. He was no fucking stranger to the sport of boxing. Yeah, he took him a little bit, obviously, and we saw in the Salido fight to get used to the professional style of boxing because he was more used to the amateur. And we know Eastern Europeans and just Europe in general have like more pedigree in the amateur. They have more amateur background than most people do. Most athletes do here in the US. So it's like I hated that someone came into my comment section and was like, "What do you mean, Clarissa? What do you mean? Who else took good opposition when they first started? Lomachenko." Like, Lomachenko doesn't count. Lomachenko was already a badass fucking decorated amateur fighter. He didn't train for 9 months and then come and start fucking beating ass over here. So that pissed me off. Let's see. Why isn't Wilder versus Fury in Raider Stadium? I don't know. Is it done already? I think they just T-Mobile Arena or MGM is usually where they go. Sermenta, yes. I remember that. That's the guy that the Triple G beat up, right? Oh, I miss Triple G. Can you believe Carlos Adames turned down the Munguia bar? Dude, I'm tired of people turning down. I don't know. I heard Triple G turned it down too, which I don't know how true that is, but that Tanahara versus Gwen Cepeda. Dude, I wanted to see Tanahara versus Gesta so bad. Tanahara versus Mercito Gesta, that was such a good fight, and I know that's not Tanahara's fault. That was Mercito Gesta who got food poisoning or some shit. Right? And then when he was supposed to fight the fucking the Puerto Rican that lost to Cancio. What's his name? What do you guys know who I'm talking about, right? My brain is fucking dead. But you know who the fuck I'm talking about. Tanahara was supposed to fight that guy that lost to Kansu and then lost in Ring City, USA. So like that Mexican guy from Tijuana. Uh Machado. Thank you, Jesus. He was, yeah, I'm glad that you guys always have the answer when I can't fucking think of the actual name. So I was excited for Tanahara to have those two fights because Tanahara has a beautiful jab. Tanahara has such a good jab, but I feel like he just hasn't been tested that much. So I really wanted to see that, right? So I mean, I don't know if he's fighting. I don't know if he's fighting. I don't know if he's fighting Cepeda. I haven't heard that, but we'll see. We'll see. I hope so. And then let's see. Blair Cobbs needs to step up. Yeah, but I think Blair Cobbs is one of those fighters who we know that eventually with top opposition he's gonna lose. But he's entertaining, so fuck it. Maybe because of fighting MMA, I wanting her to fight Savannah Marshall for revenue. Yeah, but I think I want her to wait. I mean, I would have loved to see Savannah Marshall for sure, but it's the only girl that beat her in the Olympics and the amateurs. So I would love to see that, but I think Clarissa's just on another level, to be honest now. If Wilder doesn't kill Fury, it doesn't count. You guys are crazy, man. Always in the comments being crazy. Pita said Tanahara versus. Oh, he did on what? I would love to see it. On Twitter, Instagram. Come on, watch is new for. Okay. I don't have anything against Ellie, but I'm not big on any YouTube platform, but I would love to. I'm gonna go check after this. I'm gonna go check Ellie's channel because I do want to see that Wilder interview. So if you guys haven't seen, Wilder did an interview with Ellie, and you guys should definitely see that. That way, if you want to feel why he was quiet and why he didn't talk to the media, Ellie has an interview with Wilder, and it should be a good one. So, lastly, guys, before I go, I'm gonna show you guys the pictures that Ari sent me, so we'll discuss one last time if we saw something in the gloves, what we see, what's going on, and then we'll call it a day. We'll call it a day. So these are the pictures. Oh, oops. Hold on. Let me see if I have it. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. I'm trying to pull these pictures up. It won't let me pull them up. Hold on. Shit. How do I do this? I think I need to save them. Save image. Because I don't want to show you guys all my DMs. Let's see. Okay. Let's see the picture. Shall we? You know what? I can't. I don't know. I'm dumb as fuck when it comes to this shit. I can't even find the pictures anymore. Point is, maybe if I make a video about it later, then you guys can watch it because I can't fucking do this. I suck with all this technology shit. I really do. I really do. So you guys have a good night. I'll go ahead and try to save the pictures and show them next time because right now I don't know how to do it. You guys have a good night. Be on the lookout. Yeah, Malik definitely did most of the talking. So, and I'm gonna try to post the content from today. I know most people already posted it, but yeah, check out the videos after I post them and follow me on my social media so you guys can see how I'm gonna go live starting July. So you guys can see the schedule, and I'm gonna stick to that schedule again. I think it's gonna be Friday and Monday, and then on Saturdays probably do a live as the fights are going on, or maybe do after a live after the fights, but we'll see how it goes. I'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. Follow me on social media. Follow Adi on social media. Follow him. And I'll see you guys next time. You guys have a good night, and I'll show you guys the pictures next time because I don't know how to save them. I'm really dumb with technology. You guys have a really good night, and don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends.